evening and welcome to Thai PBS World tonight. In this tense situation of Thai politics that we see demand from the students who are coming out to have rallies. They are calling for amending constitution and also calling for changing the solution for economic downturn. And what's the role of young people in Thai politics at this juncture? And what about economic impact from COVID-19? In the Thai PBS World tonight, Kun Thep Chayong and me talk to Kun Gorn Jatikavanet, Kla Party leader and former finance minister. With the political atmosphere in Thailand, you must have seen how students, young people are really active and coming out to protest.
Yes.
So what do you see the role of young people in politics?
I think it's good to see them active. I mean, prior to this, we were all saying that this generation is the so-called generation me, just taking selfies and not showing interest to the world. Well, they're proving us wrong, which I think is positive. We've been very, very keen to say, look, within the law, they definitely have the right to express their opinion. Obviously, it's been a concern that's been overstepping the line, especially with regards to the monarchy as an institution. And I think the students need to be sensible about that and to be more careful about that. We're worried that if they proceed that way, this could all end badly. And that it may even lead to violence and a kind of conflict that we don't want to see in this society. So I think they should be careful on that issue in particular.
But within this present political and social context, as far as you can see, what are these people's, young people, aspirations, and what kind of society that they want to see in the country?
Yeah, I think they want to see a more modern society, and I think captured within that term modern means all kinds of things like democratic, transparent, equal, clean in terms of environment and quality of life. And I think the kids are giving us a very clean and clear statement of what they want to see.
The Prime Minister said today that he planned to sit down for a dialogue with these people.
Good.
So what would be your suggestion to the Prime Minister so that the country can really harness, the vibrancies of the young people?
Well, he should. First of all, I'm quite glad that there is a committee that was set up in Parliament that will allow the young to voice their opinions to members of Parliament. I hope they get a chance to do that in the big hall, in front of all members, rather than just the ad hoc committee members. I think Kun Prayut, if he's sincere in wanting to listen, that can only be good news. But listen, let's really listen, and don't have your team screen who it is that gets to come in to see you. You can see who's voicing dissent and who's unhappy. Invite them, bring them over. I think that's what Parliament should mean, but also that dialogue between the leader and a very important segment of the people who he's mandated to govern. That dialogue is very important. The bigger the gap is, or the bigger at least the perceived gap is, between the young and the powerful, the more frustrated the young will feel. And I don't think that's good for anybody.
What do you think would be the biggest challenge for the incoming finance minister?
Obviously, the state of the economics. At least he has the tools. And when I say the tools, I mean I had fiscal space. That is a technical term that refers to the ability for the government to borrow money to use to help us get out of trouble. Thailand, even today, has relatively low debt to GDP level. So the ammunition is there. The key is using it properly, directing it correctly at the problem, and making every baht sort of make it count, make every baht count.
Yeah. So in time of crisis like this, do you think the finance ministers will still have the loudest voice in the room?
Oh no, I mean let's face it, the loudest
Not
voice.
Not in Thailand.
No. I mean the loudest voice in any government is the prime minister's.
Yeah.
The
But
prime
he has to
minister,
listen to the finance minister when it comes to fiscal policy, right?
absolutely,
Yeah,
and he should listen to all his ministers. but when it comes to economic policies, he should definitely listen to the finance minister. We also have a new incoming governor of the Bank of Thailand. So very able. I call him young man because I've known him for a long time. But he's not that young anymore. But certainly very capable. And so there's a new team in town. Let's see what fresh ideas they have. And as I said, they do have ammunition, especially the finance minister. I think the governor has a harder task because I think monetary policy in current climate of near zero interest rates is very challenging.
So you mean we still have the space, still have the ammunition?
We do, but I'm very worried about how it's used.
Yeah, the determination and the right direction to
Correct, and because when you're using 400 billion to build roads and whatever kind of projects that they're proposing, first of all, the money is not going to where it's really needed. It's not going to those who are suffering. Secondly, it takes a long time for these projects to go through, the bureaucratic process. Therefore, it takes a long time for the money to be disbursed into the system. What we're really looking for is the entire 1 trillion, not just that 400 billion, into the economy this year, almost, in fact, right now. But it's not going to happen if you use it that way, which is why I think it's very important that the government completely take a fresh look at how this money is going to be used.
What can we do to prevent politicians from coming into the way of the new finance minister, the new economic team in trying to revitalize the economy using this stimulus package? Because there are fears that with this current reshuffle, there will be politicians wanting to have, to be very frank, to have a cut in whatever that will be spent, right? So
I'm sure.
Learning from your experience, how do you handle this kind of interference?
I had a very strong mandate from my boss, the Prime Minister, Kun Apisit, and his direct help as well, also from the Deputy Prime Minister at the time, Kun Gopsak, so Sapavaso. So as a team, we understood the political challenges. We're all politicians, but we also understood what needed to be done, and that strong support made it easier. Frankly speaking, I'm not sure whether the new finance minister is going to receive that same support. And also the fact that he's coming in fresh, not having ever been exposed to politics, or even into how the government functions, how Parliament functions. I think he's got. I don't know him very well, but I'm sure he's able. But he's got a lot to pick up in a very short space of time. There's really not going to be much of a honeymoon period, given the level of crisis that the people are facing at the moment.
And that's all from Thai PBS World tonight. Thank you very much for watching.